Are you ready to be triggered, guys? And the funny thing is, the right wing makes the memes, right? The left wing gets triggered and the right wing gets to make the memes. Anyways, we're gonna dive deep. Again, 2 hours. We need to explore the trigger happy nonsense, which is pretty deep. Usually, bullshit episodes is like rephrasing something that I already talked about, or looking at slightly different angle. And in this case, we're talking about, another NPC behavior, which has pretty much like 4 major aspects and sources, as always. It's always a cake of some kind, uh, containing 4 elements that could look completely different from each side. Like, it's fascinating to me. And obviously, we're gonna feature Sniper Wolf's drama a little bit because I get triggered. All right, people get triggered, and then I get triggered. Of like, why do I get all these dislikes? Very many dislikes. You have no idea. I'm doing the math, and I'm like, this makes no sense. Is why people hate Sniper Wolf so much that even when I jump into the pool to defend Sniper Wolf, I get nothing, bro. I get no support necessarily at all. But it's fun being in drama, and especially defending the weaker side. It's way more fun. Because no one is doing it. It's like, it's too easy, bro. It's too easy to trash Sniper Wolf. Like, what the fuck is that? And so where's the trigger happiness in that sense? Well, trigger happiness technically comes from being stubborn, most importantly. And stubborn means, the opposing side is always wrong, and I have to attack them to the max of my abilities. But the funny thing is, if someone is triggered, they stay silent. They just walk away. They just bounce off you as if you're wall of bricks, wall of steel. I don't know. They just bounce off. They don't say anything. They get upset and they go away. So they lose the argument, basically. Trigger happiness might seem great on paper, might seem a powerful move, but you just bounced off and you lost the argument. You don't want to hear me out. All right? You thought one thing is going to happen and the other thing happened entirely, or you just want to trash me in some kind of way. And well, it's not working out for most people. I have not lost an argument simply because I'm ahead of people, way ahead. I'm just like waiting until people gonna catch up to the point that they can find about me, right? Because if you watch my newest videos, like, unfortunately, I have to disappoint you guys. You will not be able to comprehend what I'm talking about for the most part. You just won't. I'm trying to help people understand these concepts, but most people are just kind of like underage. Even I have like influx of people in my Discord right now, and I had a conversation in a way, but it's like a cat's Roblox money conversation. It's not that serious. All right, and I'm not here to be a babysitter for these people. I want to take things seriously, even if they're not underage. If you open your mouth and say Roblox at any point, yes, you are underage. Don't worry about it. If you care about children's entertainment stuff, if you care about generation that doesn't even exist on the map, there is the TikTok generation, there's YouTube generation, and then there is the children of the world that cannot consent into doing anything. They cannot just make TikTok videos and go viral if they're like underage, under 14 years old. But even under 18 years old, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're gonna change dramatically, and it's gonna, wither away their followers, pretty much. unless they're being guided by adults. So in general, if you want to belong in a generation of some kind, you have to be old enough. So in a way, like YouTube cannot house people below like 25 years now. Like you can't really just be like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a YouTube generation, but I'm younger than way younger than Mr. Beast, like 5 years younger. It's funny, like I'm saying Mr. Beast, like he's like ridiculously young, and there's some young YouTubers technically who are ridiculously successful. What's that about, right? I don't know. We'll find out, guys. That's my job to figure out what are these anomalies on YouTube? Why people want to be YouTubers when they could be just perfect TikTokers instead? Am I right? I don't see TikTok as equal to YouTube in any way. It just showed up. It took empty space. YouTube started panicking, and it's like, let's make YouTube Shorts to try and like fill in our empty space so TikTok doesn't invade and become equal party basically. India banned TikTok, so it's a huge market of just people a people market. That's what India is. It's a bunch of people crammed into one place, which you can tap into. And well, TikTok is a competitor because it showed up in China, also has a huge population, but Chinese people don't really want to exist to the rest of the world. Potentially, they want privacy because uh, they only have 20% of population what they actually claim. Everyone else is just empty space fillers, basically. People don't just massive NPCs. You can imagine in China, you're way more likely to be an NPC and not have any opinions for the rest of your life, because that would be bad, bro. You would lose your social credit score and stuff. Opinions are bad. And that's the way to test NPCs. It's a very reliable way. Just ask for an opinion. And if they say I like cats or some bullshit like that, like I hate autism. I hate autistic people. Some dude just fucking spit out I hate on autistic people in the chat. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's as best as you can do, but you still have to explain why. And when I said why, oh shit, I guess I don't actually. Yeah, and yeah, okay. Yeah. So you didn't even had the opinion. You just had some you just had some glitch in your brain that tried to pretend that it was opinion, but it didn't even function that far. It just wanted to trigger me. Some people want to see you triggered just for the sake of entertainment. But I mean, just stay within YouTube boundaries. Now we're establishing like next level of YouTube, where maybe don't step out of line. Maybe don't do stupid things, because there's plenty of things where it's clean and figured out. Basically, professionals are doing entertainment, and we can upgrade certain things. We have to voice our opinions, absolutely. Somehow we need to like generate sanity content and make it a norm on this platform. I would suggest like splitting the channel into multiple tabs where you can upload different sort of videos, more serious stuff and all that, where people don't have to pretty much subscribe to the appendages as well separately. But there's like the main channel and there's the appendages of whatever type of content you want to upload, but it's not gonna be sent to all the subscribers basically, unless you super subscribe to everything. I don't know, that it's just the most convenient way, because I have like 3 channels already, and I'm being threatened by my creative sources that I will in the future will have a dozen of channels, just because I feel like I will need that. And it's a very exhausting thing. Like even with Smosh, I just realized they're doing this new series that they're uploading on Smoshcast, which is supposed to be the podcast channel, which I cannot possibly subscribe because I don't have time for podcast bullshit. And I would have never really discovered this unless they talked about it and promoted it in this video, in Smoshpit, which is still the second channel of Smosh. And it's just such a headache to actually find these things. It should just be a tab, a video tab. You just click a button. In fact, the most convenient place to put channels in is where you click on videos, and then there's a list of different channels, not just latest, popular, or oldest. There's a list of channel logos and names. You just click through these, and you get all these different videos very quickly. In this way, you can even like add affiliate channels that you want to promote in a way that you sort of have creative, you know, sort of creative crossover, right? Jesus, that takes a while. You got some crossover. I understand. Or just completely fill in the blank space of where people expect to find channels. You can promote whatever you want. Maybe your wife's channel. I don't care, bro. I just want to see something like that, and there's so many features that I want to see. So here's another one. Where's my here are the upcoming YouTube features, and I have like tons and tons of features that I want to add, but let's push this aside. You know, it's easy to find, and you can subscribe separately just like it's supposed to be, but it's just like easy navigation from one channel to the other, because it's still a mess. Like, okay, so how quickly will we, how much we will struggle to find the channels? You have to go to the channels tab specifically, and then you have this, which is great. I mean, it's great, but you still have to click individually. Now I click on this and then go to the videos. It's like, what else do I want though? I just want the videos. Excuse me? And I mean, it could go into different types of videos, but like you can still promote it on your main channel, right? So it could be like a really, really good podcast that everyone has to see. You can still promote it on your main channel without being like, should I just upload podcasts into the podcast section and not worry about it? You should be able to, like, on your main channel, do some, you know, variety content in a way that's not taking up too much space, too much time, right, for the viewers. So that's good. All right. With that in mind, we have to continue our actual topic. Hopefully you're not triggered for me talking about different things, because I have to walk around and just smash the moles, whack-a-mole. When it pops its head, I just gotta go to that room and just smack it. One of the most interesting things is, again, like, people have a hard time with expectations. Like, if they set up an expectation and you break it, they get triggered. Unfortunately, they get triggered. Like, if they want a funny video, you were not funny. Oh, oops. If they wanted entertainment, you're not entertaining. Oh, oops. You know, if you took things too seriously, you said something that people don't believe in. You said flat earth twice even. Holy shit. What are you doing, bro? You actually believe what other people don't believe in? That is crazy, bro. And right now there's this getting offended culture that still doesn't go away, which is the other way to say triggered, but offense goes in a whole different direction. It's like very emotional thing of like, you shouldn't have said that. You know, this is really bad. I am very offended that you're behaving that way. You can even lose friendships over that. But what I'm saying with this is not that people get triggered very often. This is a whole phrase, and it's a very simple phrase, saying that people are actually willing to be triggered people are actually willing to become a monster, basically press their monster button and start spitting fire just casually, as if it's like completely normal. I I have problems with that. This is weird to me. But when you exhaust your emotional reach, you start becoming either violent or you start generating opinions. You basically have two choices, right? And this is quite fascinating to me. So emotional reach, I would say, is about you can influence people with your emotions alone. You can just be outraged, you can start disliking videos, and all of a sudden your emotional reach is gonna have an impact of some kind. This is why slowly YouTube actually moved away, separated the entire thing from children. So now YouTube is no longer directly linked with children. It's not anymore. Like you don't actually get to get children's content that often anymore. Did it move to TikTok necessarily? I think TikTok needs to evolve properly and establish itself, and still can be knocked out and replaced with something else. It's in a vulnerable state, regardless. It could find a competitor, but YouTube is not going to be outcompeted anytime soon. The only bad thing that can happen is the authorities can make terrible mistakes, and everyone's gonna be really unhappy with YouTube. Like, can wither its population by half into a quarter, something terrible. But I don't see. I definitely see this as a very stable platform. In fact, I think influencers were a thing forever, because it's the influencers that actually invent things and spread those things around, uh, and just basically change the world. Like, we know about this historically. Like, people chat around of every new thing that has been invented, but most powerful inventions are more of a human inventions of how do you what do you adopt in life? What is actually powerful in life? So even some philosophers, like, still kicking around in their graves, uh, even though they probably have been rephrased or taken out of context completely. But I do think that influencers were just a thing forever, and we just get to see them more often. Except influencer is not exactly equal to entertainer. Uh, what's entertaining to some is not going to be entertaining for others. What influencers have to do, they have to transcend entertainment into something more powerful, where you get to see new things, you get to experience new things. Um, with entertainment, you can play the same game for years and years, and it's sort of new, but you might not actually gain new experiences that are applicable in real worlds. They're not going to change your life. If you're playing the same game, you're just going to be a gamer. That's it. And maybe you're going to be an elite gamer of that game. And imagine what happens when that game disappears. You'll have to readapt into a different environment and almost start from scratch. It is a devastating experience. But what influencers can do is they can inspire all sorts of people. Uh, and I was able to just go across YouTube and find those, like, true influencers that I'm I'm pretty happy with. I just like it's just a normal type of content that is applicable to me as well, even though I'm just a dude who doesn't even go outside. But that's the whole point. Like, you can go outside for me now and slap that shit on the screen, and I'll pretend that I actually did. Because honestly, going outside or even hearing people's fucking voices as they chatter around midsummer, fucking that's annoying. And honking around with their cars. I'm triggered, by the way. I'm triggered, but this is like you pointless noise. Again, trigger happy sometimes means also that those people will try and trigger you as well. They think that you'll also get triggered into just you get sucked into drama that has no merit whatsoever. Just going to be emotionally, in the emotional battlefield where people are more like equalized. So more people win against less people, and in fact they can just outscream you. They can just mob around and outscream you. But this is the funny thing. This is why protests don't work. Emotional reach is protesting, but you need to be an actual influencer to strategize and to build things basically that would counter the problem that rose, especially with the actors and writers protest against capitalism. Excuse me, you got fired. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry that there was just one person above all of you and you all got fired. Slowly and surely you got fired by not earning enough money. But then you just fired yourselves. And it's really a question, is it still happening? Are they still protesting? Did they win anything? Because I don't think that's just that easy. So let's do a little bit of digging because I want to fill in that blank. It's ridiculous. In a way, like, the whole society is just in a weird position. But I don't think being an actor or a writer is some kind of like the pinnacle of existence. All right, it's kind of like a temporary thing, and they also have to readapt into becoming this like higher generation than YouTube. They have to do something even crazier now to be able to keep our attention. So I'm not sure what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to reorganize, because that shit also has to change. Basically, when the generational shift happened, when YouTube became the second generation and not the first one anymore, we're now going into this apocalyptic period where everything has to change, and we have to like find the best changes we can get. I am technically the change. I am the change, but I will deal with the future, not now. Now I can just only bitch about how people don't understand how to, solve problems properly, because it seems like it seems pretty pathetic, but at the same time there's the other side where people are actually actively inventing and actively doing nice things that I couldn't possibly even imagine it would exist. So I can't be too upset about the bad things when there's the good things to focus on instead. That is usually the answer to a lot of problems. Stop focusing on the bad. It's probably gonna be fixed anyways. Like, it's pointless. But you have to be aware. Focusing is bad on the bad things because your mind gets corrupted. Just like, again, I wouldn't recommend what Jax Films is doing. He's focusing on the bad creator, on the bad reactor. He's not creating the contrast that is needed to compare what is the good reactor and what is a bad reactor. And when I say reactor, somehow it means two different things. Being reactor? What is that? Anyways, nuclear reactor, boys. Yeah, it's just so pathetic, but honestly, I'll buy some popcorn and I'll watch this. And I'll comment on it for hours and hours, as long as it takes to just get that jackpot from Jax Films. Give me that. Give me those subscribers you have stolen from Sniper Wolf or whatever. Give me that. So you do have to answer this. Riddle me this, my friends. Are we going to be rich at the same time? the biggest problem with becoming trigger happy, what makes you like super angry and very quickly upset about things, is when people take the same space as you do, doing things at the same time. So again, we watched Aziland's video where two people are crossing the bridge with bikes. They're not supposed to do it without dismounting the bikes, but they did it anyways, and they did it at the same time, and they got pissed off at each other of like, oh, this is not working out, so let me kick your bike, and let me kick your bike harder now. And they passed each other without getting into a fight because that would be inconvenient, because bikes have more fucking morality than humans themselves. But yeah, this is like why I don't want to go outside. Like it's actually brutally annoying to have so many trigger happy people just trying to trigger you, trying to piss you off, trying to just put you in an uncomfortable position, and it's like they have the upper hand now because I can't do anything. But that's the whole fucking point. I can't do anything. You know, and if I did, then those people would actually become suicidal idiots who would get into a fight anyways. Because I know I wouldn't, but I have to always just be very defensive in a way and very invisible to people. But at the same time, I have to do my thing the way that I want and get the attention that I don't really deserve, don't really need, but just give me whatever you feel like giving. Just be honest. Fair enough. Because I'm a weirdo, man. I'm stuck in a room. I don't have friends. I never had a girlfriend. And I get to feel really weird that no one has enough love and ability to fill in my empty space in a proper manner. So I'm just like, I'm stuck. I'm gonna be shy in public because it doesn't feel like anyone cares properly. They have to like break the ice. Like, I'm not a fucking quiet person here when I have to express myself, vomit my emotions of how the world works. But when it comes to going outside, I can't do shit. You know, people are just taking too much space for themselves. And honestly, it has nothing to do with the economy or anything. It's just like their ego's so elevated, they feel like they have mastered the world without actually learning how to love people. And that is just not how it works. So you can understand like there's emotional reach that people have, but emotional reach, funny enough, doesn't generate love and compassion. It just simply does not connect people together. Connection means I have my own identity. I understand what my identity is. I'm not just serving people. I understand what I have to do and how to be flexible. And if someone approaches me, I can have a conversation if I have to have a conversation. If I have to push them to leave, I know what to do in all these social situations because, you know, I have opinions about things and I can operate on my own and I can figure out by myself. I don't have to be told what to do, you know. In bars and all these social places, you can be just told of like, get rid of this person and that person. This guy's smelly or whatever. Just get rid of him, you know. This guy is drinking too much. Don't actually get rid of people who spend too much money, all right? He's drunk. He might get into a fight. He might get crashed by a car or something. He might attack someone in the streets, but fucking let him drink until he's basically half dead. You know, let him do that. Like, if you just follow rules without actual moral conscious decisions, you're gonna make such terrible mistakes that unfortunately are gonna cost you the job anyways. It's gonna cost you just sanity anyways. So what the fuck is the point of you know, allowing yourself to just follow rules and not think about things, not be flexible, not love people properly? Because if you cannot generate opinions, you cannot generate love. You cannot understand another person because you never try to. You just look at rules, facts, emotions, whatever you feel like. It happens. But not whatever, you know, has to happen happens. If you have to like Like, the best way to generate love, and an NPC cannot do that. NPC simply can't help people because they are clearly not trained to do so. At some point, people will be trained, and at some point, help will arrive. But like, we have all this homeless people flood the streets. No one knows how to fix that. The only people that are trying to fix it is like influencers, right? And the only thing that I see is like, oh, let me film that. Let me be an influencer for that particular moment where there's fucking weird shit going down. Or just let me cross the streets and show how pathetic they are. Because we haven't seen that 20 times already. Every season, 20 times. Let me cross the street. See how many homeless people are. Might as well start counting homeless people or count different races or some bullshit like that. Different genders. Well, just walk around in those streets. But that's the whole point. Like, they don't know how to do that. If you don't have training, you're not going to actually accomplish anything. You're just going to cross the streets and just do nothing. This is why influencers are actually ridiculously important when they show you how to do things. Or just show you new things like Mr. Beast. And like, actually, I can sort of fix hearing and other things that I don't remember because I don't care. Hearing and eyesight, that's all I remember, guys. And then I still have an image of crazy legs from Africa, I imagine, because only in Africa you can have all these weird people that you definitely want to help, but definitely nothing is going to happen if you help them. Just nothing is going to happen. Nothing's going to change in Africa if you're going to help people. It's such a help economy, basically. But it's so funny, like, we can help Africans and we cannot help local people. That is that is such a fatality to my mental health. Just fatality. We can help Africans, but not local people. That's too hard. Too hard. Too high difficulty, man. But Africa, anytime, bro. There's 10 Mr. Beasts flying to Africa right as we speak. We're going to be building houses and stuff. Absolutely. And we're going to give them fresh water. It's like, you must just understand, there's unfortunate people who just are stuck in hell. They're just being scorched by the sun. They want to have sex all the time like fucking monkeys. You can't help these people. But we try anyways, because it's such a fucking good content, basically, now. Absolutely. I love that. Call me racist, but I agree. I agree, man. If unless you have like great solutions, but like apply them locally and then go from there. So that's and yeah, like someone is gonna be triggered of like, oh my god, why are you racist? Didn't you just said Jews here? I will find some Jews. Isn't it ironic that Jews hate when juice comes out of your body? Jews hate masturbation. Haha. Can't wait to make no fap is bullshit level 5. The highest level we would ever get. The highest level is right now 4. And I think 3 video ideas have reached that level. But if anything reaches level 5 is goddamn masturbation, because that shit got so suppressed, or just is being suppressed technically by the entire world. It's being perceived as like a gross activity to do. I'm sorry, bro. If we are more lonely and isolated, masturbation is now better than sex, bro. Maybe even fucking 5 times better. When we have access to basically any body on our screens we could ever fucking even imagine, bro. And whenever we want a body on our eyeballs, we can just fucking conjure that shit. And that's not magic, guys. So, actually, that's not magic. Yeah, it would be magic like 10 years ago when we had like fucking flip phones and shit. I'm sorry. Obviously, 10 years is gonna trigger some people because I had an iPhone. Yeah, but your internet sucked balls. You had to download pictures for a long time. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's go back 20 years ago. Oh, now we're talking, am I right? Now we're shitting pans. 10 years ago, I was just finishing school. I didn't really had a good phone. I did have a phone, but everything was laptop related. That I had porn. See, back in the day, like you still have to catch up with what's available for you. So, yes, you can watch porn, but I didn't actually explore the full concept of how deep the rabbit hole goes and how actually important for your mental health it actually is. Because you just gain experience. Nothing really happens. You spit out of the same body part as you pee from, and then it feels just as good as shitting in the toilet. So what is the difference? What is the... Oh my god, this is baby juice though. We're killing babies now. Yeah. Yeah, and Hitler was killing the other kinds of babies. In fact, it's... I don't know how Jews got the name Jews, but it probably goes back all the way to the world of Jesus, man. Jesus probably have invented this new thing. Hey guys, it's very good to masturbate. Juice comes out of your body. We're gonna be the Jews. And that's how Jews have been born. I mean, you must understand, like back in the day, people would just be chill like I am. They would just have fun, and it wouldn't be that difficult of a time. Of like, oh my god, we need technology to feel good about ourselves. That's not how life works. That's not how reality works. We don't need technology. We need like more realism, actually fully submerge ourselves into reality. I can actually twist, virtual reality into actual reality for myself. But in order for things to actually be real, you have to be in control. You cannot just let all the pixels surround you and you can call it virtual reality. No, you just being under control by some fucking game developer. That is bullshit, bro. That's not virtual reality, that is mind control. If mind control ever had a definition, it's the fucking helmet you put on your head. And you submerge into that bullshit. And it's just something I can't handle. And I wouldn't even recommend younger generations to try and handle that sort of reality. Like, if we're doing TikToks, anyone can make TikToks, but we have to agree that everyone is gonna do TikToks whenever they feel like doing TikToks and seeing who has the better experiences, right? This is how we can organize TikTok of like, if something is happening to you, you just make a TikTok about it. If you have thoughts about something, film a TikTok. It's gonna automatically apply these captions and everything you need to look better, basically. It's gonna put on some makeup on your face automatically. Well, AI will decide that or whatever. But just to make it appealing to the audience. But the most important thing, you're just going to be able to express yourself whenever you need, whenever you truly feel. And if you properly going to stack your experiences, you're going to be a better TikToker. And it's going to be decided by completely different ways than how YouTube has decided its own success, basically, on their own generation of people. It's fascinating stuff. Again, I'm whacking two different moles. Can I actually put them together? Well, yes, I can. Because there's a lot of people in the young generation who are, in fact, trigger happy because they sort of have to be. They sort of have to try and capture your attention, and they pretty much win if they do so. You have to download Discord and know what Discord is and how it functions and how dark it can get if you want to actually interact with me. And often enough, you will have nothing to say. So, or you're just not going to pass the I have an opinion test. And I'm not there to babysit. What happens in the waiting room stays in the waiting room, because bad things will happen. And only if people get saved will they go to the next level. Now I'm building a mountain of layers and layers. There's now 3 layers. So you would get into public square after getting in trouble in this position, right, in the waiting room, if trouble arises and you survive the trouble and you're the big boy, you're the one being hurt, but you're definitely winning the argument, you get to the next level. You don't get kicked out like I was in many Discord servers. I get kicked out if I win the argument. You get the opposite treatment, which is mindfuck for a lot of people, but it's not mindfuck for me because I had to go through weird experiences like that, where people are being abusive because they have nothing to offer. That's usually the case, right? That's also a pretty big source of stuff, but it's like very sad, and I'll give a broken heart emoji. People are abusive because that's the only thing they can offer. Everything else is just fear and confusion, basically. They're just intimidated by your presence. You're winning all the arguments. You're not losing anything. You're kicking their ass. And it feels bad. Like, you can imagine how many people I made feel bad when I play some weird deck on Hearthstone and I just kick their ass for free. I mean, sometimes I get to be somewhat upset when I get my ass kicked. Somewhat. I can deal with that easily. So it's like I always win, because there's no way I can lose. I try to have fun in Hearthstone, and if I start kicking ass, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Unintended consequence. Oh yeah, TikTok is a few inches away from just having quests, basically, of like, hey, upload a TikTok every week, and we're gonna promote it more often than most shit posts on TikTok. Just upload it every week. That's pretty cool, right? They can do that. They can even stitch TikToks together of like, this week you did that, and previous week you did that. You did that. And it's like a very powerful experience, because you normally don't get two TikToks from the same creator. But there's a reason to actually do that. So TikTok has a completely different dynamic going on. Well, I have to like clean up YouTube and prepare it for like the next generation, the journey, the actual journey, bro, that we're gonna go through. It's gonna be a it's gonna be a long one, and I gotta clean it up. I have to make sure that people can contribute properly. They know how to fucking do their work. They know how to entertain audience without getting into trouble, or creating trouble without getting into trouble, which is bad. I will make people accountable and reward people who are doing great, and elevate them, and explore their channels and show it to everyone else who want to learn basically how to make better videos. That is my responsibility gonna be. It's hard though, because I'm still a random dude in a way that got stuck in a corner, and I didn't want to leave. So my escape was YouTube, basically. And again, I can see people being trigger happy, and I have to be happy about them as well. I have to share that happiness. It's the only way you can beat them, is just not worry about it. Most people are going to be triggered about something. They're going to care about something. Fucking their house is on fire. I'm sorry, bro. There's a robber in your house about to shoot you in the head. Nah, I can't see that right now. You're talking to a wrong person. You should be calling police. I mean, I'm just saying, there's nothing to be triggered about, especially across the internet. It's not going to make you happier in any way. The only thing you can be triggered, sometimes people going to come to your place. In this case, we can call it Discord still. They're going to come to my place, and they're going to try and find something to be triggered about. And then they're gonna leave because, like, oh my god, this person said that, or he did this. They're just trying to loot, trying to loot your reputation, and just post some bullshit on Twitter, which I don't respect that platform at all. Elon Musk have successfully started the extermination of Twitter. Like, you seemingly get more freedom on Twitter to shitpost, but that's all that's gonna happen. Without Without the left, there's no right. Without the triggered people, there's no people who are trying to correct them in the most absurd ways imaginable, and it creates a curveball of garbage. Without Twitter, you're not gonna have a similar cancellation experience as we did before. People are genuinely not gonna be able to cancel YouTubers that easily. Like, Jack's Films, what he's doing is actually, well, still being triggered by Twitter. I'm like, honestly, well, I tried to make an argument that Jack's Films is actually doing a weird cancellation work where he's actually going after a YouTuber. But this is different, bro. Because it's not different. It still started, well, the whole story started at Twitter. If some bullshit starts at Twitter, maybe he's just wrong. Maybe he's just fucking triggered. And honestly, like, if anyone is trigger happy, like, Jack's Films is now a top of the morning to you laddies. He's top of the pyramid, unfortunately. Jackspedicy? Yeah, I guess you share the same name, and I had to say top of the morning for some reason. Am I right? So yeah, we cannot be rich at the same time. There's also H3H3, which is entangled with HQC, right? And of course, HQC is triggering a lot of people, but he probably is entertained to do so. He's probably a clown of the internet, and he wants to trigger a bunch of people of like, oh my god, there's a clown, and he's ugly. What do we do? And he's doing the worm. He's just trying to just steal everyone's attention with the stupidest things imaginable. You know, that's what a troll does. Like, he's just doing extremely stupid things to get attention and distract people from what they're actually doing, just to prove that whatever they're doing is actually not that important at all. If they get upset and they kick him out, like, that's legit. That's a legit move you can make. But across the internet, you can't kick out XQC. You just can't do shit. So XQC is like the greatest troll of all time, who's also just jumping in on the bandwagon of like, I'm also a reactor that's, you know, ripping off a lot of creators, basically. And it's like, yeah, good timing, good crossover. I don't like XQC at all. I don't think he exists, but a lot of people think that he does exist, and it just kind of pisses me off because I guess he is successful at existing in the most spectacular garbage fashion. He's a fucking Twitch person. Now, where does Twitch align with the second generation of YouTube? I don't know, man. I don't know. If Twitch wants to survive and not be dumped into TikTok space, because TikTok also does live streams, right? And maybe even better live streams than fucking Twitch does. Also, Twitch starts with a T, so Twitter goes down to here because Twitter will never be renamed into X. That would be hilarious if that would happen. And or just Twitter turns into porn. Because why else would the fuck would Elon Musk buy Twitter and rename it into X if it wasn't a platform known for, you know, porn in general? It's almost like, you know, I couldn't have guessed that this would happen, but this was just the most natural thing to ever happen. A bird turns into a sexual object. Yep. Could have guessed it. Could have guessed that one. A bird is going to be bought by a billionaire, by the biggest billionaire, and be turned into a sexual object of the internet, into an X. Because that's what billionaires like, of course, right? I don't know, man. The world is so fucking twisted. And like, I understand if you triggered, but if you trigger happy, because this is the problem with and why this is bullshit. Like, I can be happy for you, but if you trigger happy, you're gonna switch sides, you're gonna dislike me for the sake of disliking me, you're not gonna have any arguments or opinions, you're just completely fucking useless, and that's the only thing you can do is pull the trigger. And if you have a gun, you are a dangerous person, unfortunately. So you know what we're talking about here as well. We're talking about all sorts of criminals who are just as trigger happy. Is just the only difference is they have guns. All right? Trigger happy people should never have guns. Because they would trigger them, you know. They would do that. That's what they're just willing to do. They're just willing to turn off their brain in order to cause damage, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, oh, what happened? Oh no, what happened? They will point fingers at everyone, but they don't care. They're just gonna go to jail, but they don't care. They know what's going on, but they're just gonna cause as much damage and chaos as possible, as imaginable, as like a suicidal maniac would do. And this is where it all starts. So if you want to catch a criminal, this is the sort of behavior you can actually look for. This is why it's such a high level bullshit that I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. If my opinions trigger people, you have mental problems. That is actual indication of mental problems. A lot of people can say, I'm crazy for having opinions, for trying to build sort of a, mental real estate in my brain. Use my brain a little bit more. I have mental problems to do that. Well, I have to break it to you, but a lot of people are also hypocritical. So when they say I have mental problems, they just fucking trying to hide their own thing by being aggressive onto me. So what are trigger happy people trying to hide? Well, trigger happy people are trying to not think about themselves because everything they do is hypocritical, right? Hypocrisy is a loss of morality, basically. It's a pretty big word. If you're hypocritical, you apply rules to other people that you don't follow yourself. All right? And that's pain. That is absolute pain. And in some ways, even police breaks certain rules in order to catch criminals, which is not necessary, actually. You just find the trigger happy people, the people who rile up and create chaos in society. That's where it all comes from. This is the spawn of evil, bro. We're approaching the gates of oblivion, guys, and we see where the demons come from. As the world of triggers. Oh my god, I have to do something about it, and the only thing I can do is fight. Yeah, direct confrontation, am I right? That's the only thing I can think of, though. So yeah, I wanted to be a babysitter. This is completely off topic, but people are coming to my Discord because of the, a different way. Every single time I upload a video, it has a different effect on my ecosystem. So in this case, it actually, a lot of people wanted to come and explore my Discord and explore my channel in a way. Maybe they were confused. I'm not sure what kind of introduction I've made that would make people feel this way. That they would want to explore. I still haven't got likes for those videos, for all the effort that I've made. I'm still like left dry. In fact, I have to reveal you guys something I have been sitting on that, it's a calculation basically, right? So let's say, Sniper Wolf, okay, so the equation I'm looking for is what kind of number do I have to raise to the power? The last number I needed was this number. Raised to the power of 41. I gained 41 dislikes in a row. And this is technically I don't know what kind of world record is that, but we're still cracking it. All right, 41 in a row without any likes as the first reactions from people, right? Despite them doing a blind click and only sending those dislikes to me directly and not sharing it in public in any way. So this number has to be like 50%. Then it becomes fair, right? So this is the chance that Sniper Wolf has of losing the case based on how how people perceive this. And this is decreasing, right? Sniper Wolf has 2% chance of winning her case. 2%? And even if I include my commentary and I include Aziland as a face of React channels, she still has 2% to fucking survive this drama without significant damage? What the fuck? I'm sorry, bro. I think that's a trigger happy behavior of people who think they have power, who have elevated their egos to a little bit too high, thinking that they still have control of YouTube and they understand how this landscape works. All you have to do is press like and dislike and subscribe. That's all you have to do. And then just type a fucking stupid comment if you want to vomit really badly. I'm sorry, bro. YouTube is now a much higher generation and requires people to actually be quite civil and careful with their actions. All right? And I'll make things a lot worse. If you dislike a video, you have to say why. If you like a video, you have to actually fucking watch it. I'll make it worse. I'll make actions count, because if actions don't count anymore, if people just vomit their emotions and become trigger happy, they just dilute the information that we receive as content creators. And so you can see how I crossed over these two concepts very easily, because I just got attacked, bombarded by dislikes by these stupid people. And I will support Sniper with all my heart and all my soul if all she receives is just hatred and nonsense. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I can be a much bigger hater than you guys can. So I'll just get closer to Sniper Wolf if I can, and she will appreciate my hatred, because it just all comes from one person instead of 1,000 or 10,000 people who just decided to be fucking evil, right? Yeah, causing a negative impact. YouTube authorities have decided, like, this is not good enough. Like, the star system went away to simplify it, and it's like, oh, people are still abusing dislike button. We have to remove that as well. If you think you just want to repel yourself from highly disliked videos, and you're gonna find yourself comfortable with very disliked videos, like, this was actually a danger to society. Like, imagine people are just generally bullies and abusers on this platform. That's just generally what they want to do, and we have no ability to, like, strike back. This is why even sometimes democracy can turn into demon crazy. All right, if everyone is an abuser, they just unite and they slowly turn into this obsessive, like, let's vote out the weakest person out of the group until only just a handful is left. But the voted out people don't go anywhere. They stay in the limbo to be awakened once more. And you can even awaken the entire dragon of these people, an entire ecosystem of canceled people. So I already have, like, Onision, and there's a lot of people who just left YouTube because they don't feel like they can keep up with the demand, with the requirements, basically. So this is very interesting. You can summon a dragon composed out of all canceled people. Because I think like 50% of cancellations are completely reversible, basically. Even, like, the biggest cancellation of all time is Rebecca Black. Completely reversible. We can clean our history of all this hatred that was directed towards that person, and she could start a new career. And she probably can do banging music and all that shit, and I'm all for it. I'm placing a bet on that person, all right? Because I needed a win person, and she just fills in all my requirements, unfortunately, for everyone else. And she could blow up, properly this time. Get a second chance. I'm not saying it's bad that we have a story like that. It's actually fun to have those roller coasters, but yeah. When I said roller coasters, now PewDiePie and Mr. Beast attacked me to start the second hour, because we're here for 2 hours, broskies. Again, every single time I make a video, it's elevated to a next level. It's just absolute madness to me. Right now, I just want to chill because it's summertime. It's really tough. I wish I could, like, show my face. It would actually attract a lot of people. Absolutely. I wish. All right. But this is one hurdle that I don't know if I can make through, man. This one is tough. Even just setting up a webcam, you have no idea what's going on behind the scenes, how difficult it is for me to use a computer in a way. Well, without feeling like I'm just in a jumbled mess of wires or some bullshit like that. I don't want to deal with this. I want things to be convenient, and I know that technology is progressing so fast that there's not even going to be that many wires to deal with anymore. Everything is going to be conveniently, maybe just a tablet mode of some kind, just a MacBook mode, where I just plop something on my desk, AI does the rest, and I don't have to worry about it. But I have to, do best with what I have so far. Because the technology has progressed so much, and it still doesn't want to stop, really. It's kind of fascinating. And who knows how my life is going to turn around. I want to almost like embrace the fact that I'm under a lot of gravity, under a lot of pressure to not be able to perform to full extent and impress people full extent. I mean, I would want to see what would happen if I reveal my face and do one of these videos fully revealed. Just staring at the camera. I would only be able to do that for 1 hour though. It's already a lot. So let's recoup again. Let's discuss these 4 things where trigger happy people come from, which we know now it's a fucking oblivion gate where really, really bad people come from. Eventually, they get transformed into really bad people if you just allow yourself to get triggered about anything. All right? Because most of the time, you don't even have an opinion about something. You just heard that something is bad. You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say this, that way, and whatnot. You misspelled a word and you get triggered. So technically, what Jackson's has been doing is playing trigger economy, right? It's like, oh, let's find all these grammatic mistakes and let's laugh at these people. And now he's like, okay, we done that. That's not interesting anymore. I don't want to laugh at random people. I want to make people, submit their ideas to me. Pay attention to me. But now Jackson's got a little bit of his own medication where he has to pay attention to Sniper Wolf now and submit his ideas and his funny memes to Sniper Wolf. We're definitely going to have a laugh at Jack's films, and you should not interrupt him from digging his own grave. I'm sure it's a very entertaining thing that he's doing right now. And I hope that's how people feel, because usually the intuitive part of the world is like very functional and very seemingly going the right direction all the time. It's just people get panicked, and again they get triggered of like treating something that is generally good as something either irrelevant or just bad. They just twist the whole thing. They think something good is bad. Now, I don't have examples right away, but like, we're gonna get somewhere. We're gonna get somewhere with that. We have to keep that in mind. Tucked away. Draw that card and maybe we can play it later. If I had to make your nose bleed, I will do it, but I will run from a fight. anything for self-defense. And right now, people's egos are so elevated to the point where even self-defense is somehow offense. Now you can see immediately how a good thing is treated as bad. If I genuinely try to do self-defense, I would be treated as a fucking criminal. And I was, pretty much. I was just trying to push an old woman out of the fucking my place. Yes, it's a little bit aggressive, but like, she doesn't have a right to just come in and ask for money. That's not what it's all about, all right? We're not, like, if you're a homeless person, you're a homeless person. If you're asking for money, now you're just role-playing as something else. So you have to do that in the streets and showcase to everyone instead of privately of like, please give me money because I'm struggling. Like, that's not how things work. And most of the time, it's not money that you need, it's advice of how to spend money. Because most people just fucking get scammed. They get scammed by the businesses, which is really bad. That governments don't actually protect people from scams. Like, that's what government is supposed to do. In fact, I break down the specific thing of like anarchy, and then eventually the government itself somewhere lower and what? Where is it, bro? I literally break down. Actually, I break it down here. So there's a simple solution to economic crisis, right? We decide what value money has. We decide. We the people. And now we can organize through the power of the internet. We can organize and decide what value the money is going to have. We can just create, with a snap of our fingers, we can create a new government and just organize. And just we just agree, okay, this apple doesn't cost $2. It costs 20 cents. We can just decide that. All right? Who's going to stop us, bro? Like, we're just going to decide. It's like, well, that's how we're going to exchange goods. However, we can also decide people who like don't have opinions, they don't get to use our money. All right, they don't get to participate in our economy. Maybe we would change the way the pennies look like. Maybe we kind of put black marker on top or some bullshit like that. Maybe we put sparkles in it to make it ours. There's so many things we can do. We can sort of start testing with that sort of ideas and quickly defeat government, because what government is doing is fascinating. All right, it's printing money that also collects from us anyways. What the fuck is the point? All right, shouldn't we be able to print our money? Then you can take it to protect us. All right, then you can take taxes. But we have evolved where government gets to print its own money whenever it wants. That is the fiat boss that we have created, and this is the whole problem rises from just the simple idea that government creates money that it also wants to collect from people. How does that make any sense, bro? How does that even work? You have your money already when you print it, Mr. Government. That's it. It's game over. It's a game over screen for you, but it's not, because the government wants to trick you that this money is circulating, that this money is alive. The money is going to be alive if people going to create it, if people going to mine gold, and that gold is going to go into the economy. You know, it's actual work. But printing money is not really high-level skill and work requirement anymore. We have mastered it, and government has hijacked it, and congratulations, we're stuck with this weird thing that we don't even understand anymore because it makes no sense. Bitcoin is trying to exist as a digital currency, but anything digital is unbelievably unreasonable and unrealistic. Only like virtual nerds would bother caring about Bitcoin, because it's also like very difficult to acquire. You can't just hand Bitcoin physically, just like, take Bitcoin from me. You can't do that shit. It's bullshit. So if you can't do the most basic trade of like, here's a Bitcoin, give me a fucking apple, not an Apple product, all right? Yes, I'm buying an apple for $10,000 right now. And so Are you? Now it's an Apple product because everything has evolved into digital space and bullshit like that. Where you're buying an Apple product, but you're not sure exactly if it's gonna work or not, if it's gonna, if the rug is gonna be pulled underneath you, and you will have to buy a next version of it, regardless of buying this one for like and using it for 3 years. You'll just have to buy a new phone, my friend. Unfortunately. So government can be replaced with something entirely different. The only principle that it has to follow, and this is why principles are so fucking goddamn important, government just serves one principle, is keeping people safe. So we can just replace anything that we don't think is government anymore, as can be defined as government, are like criminal gangsters who dress up nicely and organize, laws that go against the people, is actually keeping us safe? I'm not sure about that. So we have to like double check which government institutions should just be snapped out of existence as well. Where's that fiat boss actually is? We have to identify its form and shape and just remove it. Just, you pull out your dagger, you deal 1 damage at a time, and eventually, if we combine forces, we can deal that fucking 20 million damage, 1 billion damage. I don't care, bro. It becomes a cookie clicker at that point. Actually, I only did 50,000 damage in my whole year. That's not good, man. And I only did it to myself. Government is like here and doing something. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing, government. I am sponsored by the government, so I don't want to kill my own government until I get sponsored by the people themselves, right? So there's a lot of people who are hooked and dependent on the government who are actually good people. So we have to also double check very carefully if we're not making people unsafe by removing certain government pieces. We have to carefully like pull those things out and see who's getting damaged. It's a very, very tricky process. We're replacing things and hopefully nobody complains. So, or nobody gets in trouble because of that. It could create a lot of chaos. But usually confusion is also sometimes good because people just shut the fuck up. They get triggered, but they shut the fuck up. You know? So some trigger happiness is like somewhat acceptable. I don't like it. I don't like when people silent, but because usually they just leave. Silence and you just leaving and creating empty spaces, like, it's cool, like, that's something, but... And it's cool when I just ruin the entire party, you know? I guess sex party is what was about to happen between my classmates. Because that's the only reuniting force that could ever fucking occur, right? And that force can be easily, you know, just dismantled by a virgin, I imagine. So that's what's going on as well. Fucking virgin power. But like, I'm genuinely upset. And I genuinely have that power. Do I have virgin power that triggers people and makes them leave? Is that what I have? That's the virgin powers? Fuck yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. If you trigger people, you just genuinely win, but you must end the argument. The moment you see a trigger happy person, you know you have won the argument. You don't have to fight against them too much. Maybe I overdosed on a certain Discord channel that turned into anarchy, but it's like when there's multiple trigger happy people and they don't fight against each other, they see me as a target. I'm like, no, I'm just like occupying space. Like, I'm not gonna move unless some fucking idiot with a gun threatens me to leave. But then once I move, I'm just like, I'm gonna create a black hole of just absolute negativity, and everything will die anyways. Either way. And in fact, I will take revenge on every single Discord channel that sort of kicked me out or banned me entirely. I'll take my revenge. It's gonna be fun. Alright? Because you can be trigger happy But the moment you use a gun, I want to take my revenge. We're not gonna settle down on me getting shot and defeated, you know, in whatever space I arrived. All right? We're only gonna settle down when I trigger the shit out of you and you just apologize. Sometimes apology is great. Apologies don't really work unless one person is asking for it. I want an apology. I'm taking revenge. I want apology for myself to feel good, to see you being an idiot who realizing slowly like maybe you're an asshole. I just want to hear it. Hear the possibility. You know, not nobody else, just me. Just I sit on a throne and you apologize and I feel good about myself. This is why I need revenge, bro. I just need to take back my self-esteem that I lost, that I have to think about every single time I think of like Discord. I think of how many times I got banned. That's not a good way to fucking live my life. I want to think of how many times I made people bow down to me and apologize. Because it's fucking easy to do often enough. This is why I said, you know, poison in small doses, and there's all sorts of poison, theft, rape, murder, all sorts of crime you can do, as long as it's in small doses where people don't even fucking recognize. You know, you stole a small thing, like a fucking cup. You steal a cup, you're literally carrying a cup out of someone's home, and you just want to see their reaction. What are they gonna do? And you're just gonna come back to them and it's like, oh, I took this cup and you didn't react. You can just do that. You can sort of simulate theft and simulate toxic behavior, which is what poison represents. All sorts of nasty behavior, just to test what people are going to do to it. It's sort of a social experiment sort of vibe, but you must deal very, very little amount of damage. Very little amount of damage. Again, taking a cup and then just returning it like 10 minutes later after you walk away with a cup, just to see how they react. Just do some weird shit, because that's a fun thing to do. No one gets hurt from a little bit of, you know, nasty behavior. And when I say rape, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as a small dose of rape. I am in fact saying that, you know, fucking a little slap somewhere, a little fucking touch somewhere, it's not gonna hurt anyone. I'm not encouraging this behavior, but it just definitely doesn't hurt anyone, and you should not be fucking triggered that someone touched you. If they touch you in public, that is a little bit something else. They have to do that in private, where you can't really fucking complain about it. You can't just like tell a story of like, oh, this guy touched me when we went into this location or that location. Like, what the fuck is that, bro? But yeah. And women can do the same thing, like fucking stare at the crotch or some bullshit like that. Just some overly sexual thing that's not actually rape. But I had to put this word in so you understand what small doses is. Like anything you see on a screen is a small dose of experience of some kind. You have to still control it to make sure you don't overdose on small doses. Because even eating one cupcake or eating one candy is not gonna do much to your system, but if you start fucking gobbling up in mouthfuls, I mean, you're gonna be fat and ugly, unfortunately. And murder, you can cut people off, you can block them from your life, and then unblock them and see how they like it, you know, because that was the point. You still have to deliver the point of like, I want to see how you deal with ignorance and all that shit. How you deal with small dose of murder. You have to actually identify how these things play out. What a small dose means in these definitions. What even poison means. Because poison is, it's like you wouldn't even do small dose of poison. That's still very dangerous. So you have to discover what poison is. Like, this is a very, very complicated task that I gave to people. And of course they're gonna not like the video for a very long time. This is like high level education that I can barely comprehend myself. if it's even possible to solve for most people. But, you know, I'll just go forward. I'm not looking backwards until I receive love, until I receive affection of like, oh my God, this person is actually ridiculously smart. He's solving my problems. Until I get that as a consequence for my actions, for my efforts, I'll just keep moving forward because I can keep, you know, growing and improving myself. I don't have to look back upon the society that's scrambling with each other, you know, on the pathetic things that they find from each other, you know. At some point, when I leave society behind, what society turns into is just a bunch of incest. You know, it's a bunch of inbreeding going on because they forget how to actually generate new ideas and adopt new ideas. It's just inbreeding, guys. Inbreeding is any concept in a spiritual term. It makes a lot more sense. So inbreeding is not about, oh my God, your family tree is fucking itself. Inbreeding is more like you lose ideas, you lose courage, you lose all these values that would be generated by going outside of your comfort zone and trying not to build too many comfort zones, too tight of a comfort zone, especially when you're dealing with other people, when you can explore other people for a long term. In fact, like, I don't know, man. I don't think inbreeding is bad at all. Not saying I would fuck my mom. It's actually like now it's ridiculously difficult to do. Like that would be fucking an achievement of humanity. Especially not, it's kind of like bans and illegal. So if something becomes illegal, it's in spiritual terms, it becomes cold and unexplored. Which is weird, bro. It is weird. It is wild. If we were desperate to make children, I would say this would be the solution to legalize that shit and just see what happens in general. Because it's unexplored. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if it triggers you, if it offends you, but we have not explored spiritual stuff before. In fact, in spiritual worlds, you can also make just as big of inventions as you can do in the physical world, where you discover that if you turn a 0 into a 1, then a computer spawns. All right? I mean, holy shit. If you put a lot of 1s and 0s into a certain space, into a certain container, it turns into a computer. I mean, wow, that's cool. That's cool. But in the spiritual world, you can also make just as big of inventions that just learn how to use the computer in the first place. Like we can invent better and better technology, and I get a little bit numb looking at all these possibilities because I know the real possibility is taking one thing and finding 20 applications to that thing. And when I say that, Niga Higa pops to my head because he canceled himself. He couldn't fucking keep up with demands. I was mentioning him, circling around him, but as well as other, again, canceled YouTubers. Again, some people cancel themselves because they don't know how to keep up, how to make themselves clean enough so people just generally like them for their effort and don't get fucking trigger happy to try and attack them. Like, a YouTuber is supposed to be a protected group where you cannot just get triggered and all of a sudden you have leverage against a YouTuber. I'm sorry, bro. We have our own ecosystem. We are influencers. We have our comfort zones. The biggest YouTubers of all time, PewDiePie and MrBeast, fucking got stuck in their rooms dealing with, sort of like social isolation. Has MrBeast transcended social isolation? I don't know, man. I don't know. He cares about views and all that shit too much. And you have to like transcend social isolation because you're such a big YouTuber. But it's still weird though. It is still weird that this is what we got. until PewDiePie retired, he was still stuck in a room just with his computer. All the way to his retirement. So now the question is like, why is Mr. Beast different? Well, I'm not gonna answer this yet. Let's fucking give it to the next video that I'll be making, because I'll have to do another Mr. Beast versus Ring of Fire moment and try and explain. Maybe Mr. Beast is still isolated as fuck. He just wanted to change biomes. He just wanted to buy a button where you change biome in your room. So now survives 2 days in desert, survives 7 days on in the middle of the ocean on a raft. You know, he's just changing biomes. It's not a big of a deal. All right, he's still just bored in a different location. Where he would be bored in a room with 4 walls, he's now traveling to different biomes and surviving there, and it still makes him isolated, because in the weird way. But I still cannot break it down in a satisfying way, so I'll keep generating ideas on that one, or perspective when it hits me. You know, when it hits you, fucking, it's an amazing feeling. So let's finish this whole spiel and invite Taylor Swift to finish the 33. All right. There's a gap between my teeth, so to speak. All right. So you must not feel... Okay. The biggest thing that generate trigger happy people is not being able to share space. I have explained that in a bullshit video. You will find a place where you're not supposed to be and get upset over it. So basically, going into like a backstage event, into an event where you're not invited, you're gonna get upset of like, why not letting me in? You know, I really want to go in. And it's like, if you're not invited, just don't go there. It's not for you. It's clearly not for you. You don't have the vibe to sustain yourself in that environment, clearly. All right? You didn't naturally just got the... You have to respect that. You have to respect invitations to things. And you can ask. You can ask, can I be a part of it, and why? Why not? But you cannot be invasive and get upset if you don't get what you want. If you don't get where you want, and a certain price point of that thing. You cannot negotiate as much as you think you can, because you're still a nobody to most people. All right, and you have to control your emotions. That's another trigger happy thing of like, I'll take revenge because they don't even let me in. If you never went in, you don't know what you're missing out on. Just move on to the next thing. All right, if nobody lets you in, then it's a little bit of a suspicion going on. But maybe you're just a weird person and you need help, and that's the actual thing you should be asking for, not to come into someone's fucking property or event. Again, backstage of a fucking movie set. Is that where you want to go? So it's like invasive behavior, basically. Very invasive. Though you'll just be upset if he gets kicked out. But you're being invasive. Like there's a dude that is trying to contact my mom. He comes to my building, like he has to climb upstairs and put all this effort, and I just fucking shoo him off like he's a fucking rat of some kind, annoying rat that tries his luck. Like it's pathetic, bro. And it's very annoying. And it's not playful at all. He just needs police brutality. So he's trying, and he's gonna be upset of like, oh, why can I do? Fuck that shit, bro. So there's a lot of invasive people who get triggered happy because they don't get what they want, what they think the expectation is. The expectation is broken, and it's like, you're not supposed to watch my videos and enjoy it sometimes. I'm sorry, bro. It's just not built that way. The third thing, and you can see these are different elements. People, they get offended because they want to. They feel like they have the power, they have the capacity to be offended in a spectacular fashion, that it somehow means something. But they don't really have a reason to. So they're just power creeping. They're just being offended because that's a cool thing to do, a crazy thing to, oh my God. Oh, you will love when I am offended. You'll see how cool everything gets. Like you'll get to see my powers. They can say all kinds of stupid things, but I don't really have an example of this. Again, I want you guys to just take it all in because you will see these examples play out in my life as well, and I will talk about it. So you just have to remember these ones. And then you have mob mentality, which is in every single drama. You can create a mob, and all of a sudden, like, we have decided as a collective to do this and nothing else. And if you do that, then you are also unreasonable and you have no ability to change your mind. Mob mentality is pretty powerful. It's a powerful force to go forward, but it's a weak force to go backwards, to retract. It's almost impossible. If you go forward with something, especially crime, then it's very difficult to just pull back from the organized crime. People try to storm Area 52 or something. Yeah, whatever. The alien thing, right? They try to storm it, but they realized, oh, it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. And there's military, so you will die if you attempt that. So they sort of went halfway and couldn't really find courage to do it because, like, mob mentality just died at a gunpoint. At gunpoint, mob mentality just dies because you have to be also armed, unfortunately, to be an equal force and actually get what you want with just mob mentality. But they just did it because they felt like this was going to be powerful enough force to do something. And the same thing is happening with Sniper Wolf drama. We have a fucking fortress, and there's a bunch of fucking naked monkeys are attacking our fortress. Dude, have you seen a fucking minigun, bro? Have you seen a rocket launcher before? Holy shit, bro. My goodness. Because on YouTube, that is very possible. You type your comments, you type your emotional garbage, and I'll show you how a minigun looks like, just mowing down your stupid, unreasonable shit. Where you created a mob, and I just dropped a bomb into the mob. Alright? And everything exploded and splashed. Easy. And I will upgrade that ability to throw grenades at people when YouTube fully integrates the second generation features. Yes, there's gonna be virtual grenades on YouTube. Fuck yeah, because people deserve that. People deserve to be obliterated by the stronger forces. Of course, to craft a grenade, you will need resources of some kind, but it is what it is. You must not feel so privileged to the point you don't want to be challenged. That's another thing, right? It's kind of like a cluster here, and I would even like swap these because you feel like nothing can challenge you anymore. You're just gonna win every single argument as well, just by believing certain things, right? But this, out of all the things, this is mental illness, thinking that you're always the winner. Like, that is fucked up, bro. So thinking that you don't need a challenge. There's another side of this, like being so privileged that thinking that you can just buy anything, you can just convince anyone, you have enough money or influence or some bullshit like that, you can just convince everyone to just do whatever you want. And you will never need a challenge in your life. You can just control the world without learning any skills or actual ways to amplify your influence and resources. Like, that's fucked up, right? But eventually people learn their stupidity. And sometimes it takes the best of them to do that. But the challenge comes naturally as you get upset. I have to take a break because I sucked in some really bad vibes from that one, though. Because some people feel so privileged they think they can do whatever they want, and everything turns around them. And then the people feel privileged and they hunt them down. The chessboard turns around sometimes. It's weird. Challenges come naturally, right? And it's great. It's great that you get upset. If you are trigger happy, you have to deal with your emotions. It's fine. You got triggered. Deal with your emotions. But if you're gonna blame me, I will take the blame. You're just not gonna get any help anymore, and you will slowly just descend into darkness. You know, the way to help yourself sometimes is to ask for help or just apologize. Just to try and be nice to the person that you feel that you having a dramatic effect over nothing. You have to resolve the fucking thing, and the best way to resolve it is to just apologize and do the right thing. You know, if your penny got stolen and you got triggered, I don't think it's the penny's fault. I don't think penny holds that much value. It's just you being a fucking asshole about it. I'll give you your penny back if you want it. That's not the point. The point is, why penny is so valuable? What happened? Did something change that I don't know about? And then imagine upset adults flocking around you. You are in danger. So there's a lot of upset children that are trying to find their superpowers and trying to have an effect over your life. That's pretty bad. But when you get surrounded by upset adults, you just gotta run, bro. You just gotta fucking bail. Because those are really annoying. And they could put you in danger really fast. And definitely not fucking say anything if you're close to adults who are somewhat aggressive, somewhat loud, somewhat taking up space. And taking any sort of space is human spreading, okay? It's fucking ego spreading. It can be a woman, a man, I don't fucking give a fuck. It's you spreading your fucking disease. Your toxic behavior that I don't want to fucking hear. But that's what NPCs do to try and challenge you. And I get triggered myself. I have to admit. And honestly, I have to say it. I apologize, guys. I'm not having a sincere apology right now, but I want to say it so I can, you know, I can just say the word I apologize. I'm training myself, all right? I apologize that your cat is now in the volcano and is actually pretty happy in there. Maybe just immune to fire damage. You don't know. You don't know if it survived the volcano. I didn't let you watch your cat get dunked on. Maybe it just lives there in the volcano. And it's happy. It's making more little kittens. And it's gonna send you, you know, the pictures of nice kittens inside volcano. You don't know. You don't know what I did to your cat. Taylor Swift. Am I right? Here we go. Alright. Taylor, your cat is in a volcano. There you go. What are you gonna say about that, huh? Huh? Don't fucking send Olivia Rodrigo to talk to me. Don't send me the YouTube Rewind thing. Give me something nice. Alright. We need to say Taylor Swift. To be specific. Because she will try and bail, bro. Cat corn? Call it what you wanted? No, bro. No cruel summer. 7? I'll take 7. Honestly, 7 is meaningless. Beautiful ghosts. Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. Let's kill your cats. Technically, like, it makes sense, right? Taylor Swift only has cats because she wants to kill them. She wants to empty the space in case there's a real fucking boyfriend in her life. Let's go. Let's kill those cats. No need. Like, who fucking needs that when there's an entire internet to interact with and play with and have fun with? But if the world is not fun place, then you have to have cats because cats are more fun, even though they're just fucking nobodies, basically. They're just garbage. Fluffy garbage. But if a cat is more important than the entirety of the internet, it's more fun to interact with. I understand. I understand what Taylor Swift is doing. But we have to kill it. Murder. Defeat. Sell it. Sell it as slavery. Also, a very interesting thing. So I talked about the TikTok generation, right? And a lot of people still haven't discovered TikTok, still haven't thought that TikTok is where they're supposed to go. So guess what is using TikTok right now and starts with 3 S's for her name, you know? You just guess on the top of your head. You should be able to understand who's actually promoting TikTok and how Jax Films is just kind of playing into it, and it's great. It's great if the end result is to promote TikTok more. But I feel like people are going to be just more resentful of like, oh, there's so many freebooters and everyone's cheating on TikTok and doing all these nasty things. But cool. I guess I will have to do that as well as the end game for drama. I will also have to promote TikTok for it's the new generation. This is where you're going to go and evolve as a person. But you have to master it. You also have the ability to just go outside for the first time and interact with people in an interesting way. Just for the sake of TikTok, maybe once a week, you do something weird, something meme-ish, but like, it's still a thing. It's still a thing everyone can appreciate. You can tell your story of like how you're stuck in a room, but you want to go outside and make TikToks. Cool. Make friends, I don't know. And people are gonna encourage you and will interact with you in a more nice way because you're more relatable because nobody knows who you are. Right now, people want that sort of state of mind of like seeing someone grow and become happier through this platform. And if they find ways to monetize their content better, I mean, that's cool. I'm just not gonna participate in that at all. I care about this next level thing that I belonged in for so long. I have seen many things on YouTube. I have been entangled and I'm just going full force because it's my time to shine, bro. I'm not gonna let go of this opportunity. This is crazy. Now, you would ask me, like, why there's so many mature people on TikTok talking about, like, mature topics and all that shit. But they have been hidden from society. They were not influencers, you must understand. I was sort of an influencer because I was just creating Minecraft map. I was programming and I'm realizing this is an influential thing to do being programmer. Just like women can be kind of sex workers in a way, or sexuality workers. They don't have to have sex on camera necessarily to be attractive, right? Just like they can do that, I can do programming. Programmers get enormous amount of money and sex workers get enormous amount of money. And it's not really that big of a scam if you do it the right way. So I've just learned the programming skills and now I'm just like a very decent dude that understands YouTube a lot better because I actually went even deeper than what a definition of an influencer is. I am a programmer, all right? And I'm not sure how you would call a woman in one word, but it's supposed to be like a very deep word. I'm not sure. Let's sell your cats to slavery. You have better things to do. Love me harder, Taylor.
All that I wanted was to be wanted.
Yeah, so, I want you so bad that we're gonna sacrifice some cats that are standing in the way. of showing how much we need more space to be filled in with cool stuff. Yes, I know cats are like the final boss. They're the fluffiest things, and they don't give a fuck about anything, and it's like very relatable. I don't give a fuck about nothing, bro. And I can fly. No! Stop it. You can't have two of these things, man. You can't just eat birds and become a bird. What? Ah, yes, my favorite thing that triggers me now, because I have to be trigger happy about trigger happy people, is just the most obvious thing, which is not hypocritical. You have to be evil against evil people. So the most common thing they do is fucking use skull emoji, and you can just tell who these people are and how fucking NPC they really are if they just come out with a fucking skull emoji. I don't need that shit. Alright? I mean, trigger happiness is another thing. There's another hidden thing. What they're trying to do is actually like sacrifice themselves in hopes that you will actually, well, they are challenging you. They're throwing their upset emotions and their weird fucking shit to try and you know, manipulate you and hope that you will lose first. But whoever wins that emotional battle, and I don't know if you would want to sacrifice yourself that way, because now you're just gonna be obliterated, and very likely so. Again, in this case, I'm getting outplayed. I'm the trigger happy person in a way, but I have to like defend my fucking position. So the way to turn it around is to remind you guys, this is my space. You're not supposed to like behave like a fucking lunatic and defend your stupid skull emoji that I'm triggered by, because it's everyone uses it and it's like, what the fuck is the point? Just like everyone is honking around. They found the fucking skull emoji in real life of how to piss people off because they're so bored. They want danger, basically. They want the extreme. They want to meet Grim Reaper and challenge him into a wrestling match. You know, I mean that's respectable. It's just there's 10% of death, 10% of torture, and God knows what else is in that Grim Reaper intention bubble. Yeah, also, so when we had a conversation with this dude, because he's the active one, because he's very excited to find a smart dude like myself, fire meets earth and whatnot, but whatever. So, as a European, I'm supposed to put Americans to sleep? Yeah, if I give a different tonation, that's like terrible. But basically, like in Europe, it's morning. It's morning time. I just woke up, and Americans go to sleep by that time, and it's kind of interesting. You can. It's almost like your responsibility across the internet. You can be very active and just drag them into sleep, because or just have a conversation with them, like full energy and all that shit, exhaust them. It's like it's kind of like the best way to do it. You in order to put someone to sleep, you have to exhaust them a lot faster, and it's very exhausting to be next to an energetic person who also is not threatening, obviously. Is there it's a complicated thing, but it's weird. Am I supposed to do that now? Is that something I do? Can I babysit your children? Put them to sleep? They might not wake up anymore, though. It was negative after. They might not want to wake up. They're gonna go to sleep so well. What else do we have? Because we have to go through all of this stuff. Now, the big thing that people sometimes say, facts don't care about your feelings. Feelings don't care about your facts. Neither of these things are actually relevant. Even if facts like sound like opinions, but they're not opinions. Opinions are just your you have free will to express whatever, right? You can just express whatever, but you have to have like meaningful attachment to your opinion. You have to sort of be vulnerable with it, because like if someone attacks your opinion, you have to retract. It makes you a little bit more vulnerable, but it makes you so much more emotionally charged, so much more aware of how people treat others, and then you realize, oh shit, like there's so many NPCs, what are we gonna do? How are we supposed to, interact? But then you just trying to drag people into having opinions that nothing bad is gonna happen to them. It's sort of, it's like playing with children, like let's drag this person in, let's show him that nothing bad is gonna happen if he plays along with us or whatever. We have to invite people in, and the game we play is let's have an opinion, so to speak. But this is like a grown-ups game, unfortunately, because you have to have a strong feeling towards some things, strong dislike, and figure out why is that the case. What are the experiences that are reoccurring? So to generate an opinion, it takes a little bit of work. Unfortunately, I'm just like a free-flowing person because I've done it many times, but I can't even comprehend how much work I've put into this, because I have nothing to compare myself to. Most people haven't even crossed this line and started considering that this word even exists. Facts and feelings? No, that's not really what I'm looking for. And when I was dissecting facts and feelings, I fell into the trap thinking that facts are actually more meaningful than or just as meaningful as opinions, but they're not. Opinions is like a more spiritual thing. It's more selfish thing. Feelings and facts are actually not that selfish. Feelings kind of like attached to your ecosystem of relationships, and facts are attached to your ecosystem of education. Both of these are ecosystems that are controlling your minds in both ways. Facts and feelings, they're just mind control information. But when you have opinions, you do have to craft opinions through facts and feelings of what happened and how you feel about it. You have to combine these two things together to get an opinion. And there's all sorts of combinations going on here. But that's the next step, to actually transcend those two extremes. And this is what divides the countries and all that bullshit. It's facts versus feelings division, basically. That there is a higher level of existence beyond these 2 points. But again, YouTube is an ecosystem as well. It's like school, where you can't expect people to be that smart. All right, YouTube is kind of like school. We're still learning things, and we can't even like communicate properly with each other. There's so many features missing because this is not reality. This is like interconnected across the world, like system that if you fall in love with it, like that's fascinating, but you got to be careful with that. If you can escape this, like that's probably a very good thing to do. And but I do see myself retiring, and I do see myself helping other people's escape this fucking web of lies, because this is not reality. But reality needs more spice to be interesting, because like we don't have to chase for food and water and all these other resources. We don't have to worry about most of the things if we have our lives in check. So what do we do then? Don't we just turn into gamers and just waste our life? There has to be something we can do that actually makes sense. We could integrate some technology in our lives, but like we'll see, what my future holds. Am I gonna be stuck with all of this forever? Because like it seems like PewDiePie retired like entirely, and I'm like, I have to respect that. There's something to it, There's some information to it. Meaning that he retired from using technology much at all. Because if he would make YouTube videos just naturally. he would do something. Even though it's hard to edit, but he hired editors, so I don't know. It's weird. And he keeps showing in vlogs how he's just traveling Japan. It's a little bit cringe. It's like a little bit too much realism. It's probably just like a happy middle ground. We don't necessarily have to escape, but you definitely stop chatting with strangers. I mean, that's the first thing to do. It's a good place to start. Again, I'm just desperate to understand how internet works and if this is actually useful, because we're still going forward and I'm like in the front lines of this toxic behavior that people think they're on top of the world, but I have to decide if that's true or not. I have to be on front lines and decide if you're doing progress or just going backwards. And it's very difficult because people go both ways at the same time. It's like just to trip you over. Guys, have he made progress, or are these lines completely equal? At this point, like, visually equal, so we just concede of, like, he didn't even move an inch. And this is the stuff that I have to deal with. It's like a bunch of arrows and I have to put them all together. So people just move around. And at some point, if there's too much arrows, I have to, like, and I can't do math and simplify, I have to ask that person to simplify themselves. Otherwise, they're not making any progress because I can't even identify them. There's all sorts of things like that. It's weird. Matrix is full of weird shit, and like, I dipped myself into Matrix and now I have to deal with it. Deal with all sorts of ideas floating around, capturing them, understanding them. Like, jeez. Who can do stuff like this, man? In public, of all things. When the cars are honking around. You know, then the metagame begins, right? There's trigger happy people. Then there's people who want to trigger happy people. So those are just equally as bad because they just want to, you know, put you in a miserable position where you just get triggered of like, what do? I have to fucking destroy the stupid thing that is triggering me. And it's like, there's a whole fucking ecosystem built on evil itself. You know, the pyramid of evil. And it all starts with trigger happy people. You just open the Oblivion Gate and then the evil starts pouring out. And creating a truly vile, you know, experience for everyone. Anyways. Yeah, you can't agree or disagree unless you have a why. Unless you have a reason to. Otherwise, you just say, all right, I'm done. I'm done with this discussion. I said everything. You run out of reasons. Otherwise, again, you're triggering people. So, again, trigger happy people is the same category. If you're trying to trigger people, you trigger happy. If you getting triggered easily, you trigger happy. It's still the same thing. So I'm saying like it's an ecosystem, like you can build upon. But evil is evil, and it's just pretty obvious, and it just falls under the same category of just garbage eventually. Or my favorite word, bullshit. Yep. You know what the most difficult thing about anarchy to do is to make sure that the people with high level experience, they just elevate themselves and they don't attack noobs. If you want to take care of noobs, that's fine. That's fine. But if you're hostile to noobs and you high level, you should just elevate yourself higher. Most servers don't actually apply anarchy levels because you need to reach higher level of existence. So you let noobs breathe and, you know, exist. And you can imagine there are levels of existence here in the world. Again, I split everything into 4. Right now, in this particular space, we have 3. So you have waiting room, then you elevate yourself to blue level, then green level. Technically, there should be 5. Waiting room is just a white place. But I'm not sure what the next two are gonna be. What are the next two levels? Because for that to happen, I have to reach beyond green. I have to actually find golden people, which is like insanely impossible. Like golden people are super duper influential, and they would change the landscape that we have here going on entirely. So simply because they have similar amount of influence as I do, they can definitely whisper into my ear of what also we can do in certain sections. Maybe we can attract porn stars. I don't know, bro. I don't know. And it's not appropriate for most people. But if you're golden, like, fuck it. We can share some interesting material with each other. Fucking trading cards. Nude trading cards and world domination nuclear weapon trading cards, you know? And then there's some higher level above that. Imagine that, bro. Very interesting. Or, you know, like, if you want to beg to be in YouTube Rewind, you have to reach that level. And then send trading cards of you begging. Sending me videos, basically, of you begging. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we will not talk. We will not talk in normal terms. We will talk in terms of videos. And we're going to vote on things. Like, there's so many things you can do in higher levels with high-level people. But in order to build that pyramid, you have to actually have the substance to do that. You have to have the material. And the material below to hold everything together as well. As an ecosystem constantly tries to collapse itself, there's constant tendency for, you know, fuck, what is that word? Entropy, right? There's constant tendency for self-destruction because you also always have to test yourself and challenge yourself if everything is okay. This is why you have to follow your emotions, because your emotions are going to tell you if everything is okay. And sometimes you can also trigger yourself because you say, like, is everything okay though? You can get into this panic mode just after saying some weird things because your heart just activates the incorrect notion, basically. So you have to, like, really put things into perspective like that. And we haven't really explored all of this stuff, but we filled in those 2 hours. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, this is fine. And we killed Taylor Swift cats. So that was the main goal of this video. See you guys next time.